Hi guys, and welcome in this second video. During this video we're gonna explore another type of graph, which will be histogram. Okay, let's go into the action right now. We will start by, as usual, importing our raw packages. I'm just gonna copy and paste from the previous raw packages. I'm just gonna copy and paste from our previous video. Let's execute. Exceptionally, concerning this video, we will import another module which is called plotly.express. The reason why we are importing this module of Plotly is because we will need some data which are already included in Plotly in order to explore the functionality of histogram. Histogram will not be the mostly used type of graph that you're gonna have to use during your path as algorithmic traders. But I believe that's always good to be able to have some skills about how to plot any type of histogram, because anytime in your life of developer, I don't know what is your goal in your life, but I believe there is some good tips to learn from this video. That's why I choose to include you this video about histogram. Histogram gonna be quite useful, for example, if you want to plot your volatility when we will study our volatility concerning the stock which will be targeted. Okay, let's now start by importing our data. I choose to import data from Canada. You can just execute this query. Essentially, this table is included inside Plotly Express module. I didn't talk to you about Plotly Express, and I will probably not talk to you about this module, because when we will have to plot very complex algorithms such as Ishimoku Kinkoyo, or even for Bollinger Band, I feel Plotly Express is a little bit limited in order to be able to explore at 100% Plotly potential. And as well as, if you want to use Plotly Express, you're gonna have to adapt another methodology in order to plot your graphs. That's why I prefer to go through plotly.graphObjects. But okay, let's go back into action. Now I just upload data from Canada. In this table we have country, continents. What's gonna interest us, what we're gonna plot, is gonna be the year and the population in a first moment. What we're gonna do, we're gonna type x equal data Canada. We're gonna query in order to import the year on the x-axis. Essentially, we're gonna have the year on this axis and the population on the y-axis in order to be able to visualize how Canadian population is growing. Okay, let's go back on it. On the y-axis, then we want data Canada, and we will like to have population. What we're gonna do now, again, we can just like copy and paste our 3 line that we have seen in the first class, which the first line is declare figure. We're gonna paste it. The last line is show graph. We're gonna paste, and the second line was atlas go dot scatter, but in this case we're just gonna change the type of graph that we want. We're gonna ask Plotly to plot a bar chart, go dot bar, x equal x, y equal y. And if we execute, we will have the evolution of the Canadian population over the time. As you can see again, that's super easy to plot any type of graph on Plotly. You declare a figure, you show your graph, and in between you add any trace that you want. If you want to add like that as a scatter plot in between, you just have to do up. Instead of bar, you ask to plot a scatter. And Plotly gonna add a scatter in between. Okay. And if you want to add like another scatter plot based on other data, you can just implement it. Okay, let's keep our chart. Now what we can do, we can also change the color. What you can do, just gonna add marker. You can always check the name of it by typing Shift plus Tab, as I recommended you. As you can see, the name, you can just check the name up. It's marker color equal red. Execute. Okay, now the graph color is in red. Okay, a last intro argument that I want to show you. When I talk about intro arguments, I repeat, but like it's arguments which are inside the function bar in this case, or inside the function scatter in the previous video. But yeah, okay. And now let's add another intro argument, which is very interesting. Mainly if you have clients, if you want to be more sharp about your data, what you can do, you can just like add hover text. Yeah, you can, if you want more information, again Shift Tab, you have your arguments hover text, and you can check what sets hover text element associated with is. It's a single string. Essentially, the impact of hover text is to be able to add more information inside this cell. As you can see here, what we have 1982, 25.2019 million of people, of citizens. Now what we can do, we're just gonna add this information in order to be able to have more data. It's a string, so what we're gonna type, year slash and population in millions. Invalid syntax. Okay, yeah, I forgot to close the bracket. As you can see, now we have, okay, for 1987 we have the year, and we have for information that the second argument represents the population in millions of citizens. Okay, but inside this module over text you can write multiple information. You can write a description, you can type your signature, but again, what I want to show you here is like, what is the interactivity of Plotly? And as you can see, Plotly brings a huge added value, mainly if you compare to MATLAB or other basic charts. I'm using Plotly here just like, for example, if you want to give some reports using Jupyter Notebook, I believe that's more impactful. I notice it when I'm in front of client and they have to use a slider, that always making a huge impact and make it looks more professional. Okay, Now, other points that we can do as well, we can, for example, instead of having just a description, we can add the life expectancy each year inside this hover text. Yeah, what we can do, we're gonna first of all start by defining a variable life, or just gonna call this variable var, okay, which is gonna be equal to data Canada life exp. Just gonna print var to up. Essentially, that's the life expectancy of Canadian people each year. The goal of the that's the life expectancy of each Canadian. The goal of this step is gonna be to have more information inside this hover text, inside this module, instead of just having the description which describes, okay, that's the year and population. What we want to have is like, okay, we have the year, we have the population, but what was life expectancy at this period of time in Canada? Okay, I just stored it in a variable var. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna copy and paste a short function. Don't worry too much about it. The goal is not to be an expert on NumPy. If you have strong knowledge on NumPy, or even just like some basic knowledge on NumPy, you are able to build it by yourself. Just in order to gain time, I'm just gonna copy and paste now. I'm gonna store that in variable. Essentially what I did, I create some information. It's gonna be life exp, and for each line that we're gonna have life exp with the number of years. Yeah, otherwise okay, life exp, okay. And now what we're gonna do, instead of having the year and the population inside the over text, we're just gonna have our as final. And here, for example, okay, for each year we have the year, the population, and the life expectancy. For example, if you check in 2002, the life expectancy was 79.77 years. Yeah, you can 2002, 79.77 years. Okay, and if you want something even more visuals, you can also change the color, and instead of having as red, you can implement a color which is gonna evolve depending of the life expectancy, which means what you're gonna do, we're gonna use our variable var, because we have each year we have the life expectancy. We're just gonna type var, and yes, and as you can see now, more the life expectancy is high for this country, for example, and more the color is light, and more the life expectancy is low. For example, in 1952 the life expectancy was 68.75. As you can see, that's gonna be the darkest color. Okay, now we have seen the different basic points concerning bar chart or histogram. Last point that I want to show you, that I want to introduce you to, gonna be how to create like having different bar chart per year. For example, in year 1950, if you have different countries, how are you gonna plot this population next to it? I'm gonna go quickly on that. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna take what we did here. I'm just gonna remove our marker color, and our text is not necessary. Okay, let's say, okay, we're gonna type name, average, or we're gonna type Canadian population, and let's say we're gonna add two other bar charts. On this one we're gonna use the Canadian population times 0.8, and on this one we're gonna type times 1.2. So just in order to show you how it's easy to plot multiple bar charts for 1 year. On this one we're gonna call it, for example, lowest average. Okay, let me think about something. Okay, let's say, yeah, okay. Otherwise, yeah, instead of using the population, let's use the life expectancy. We're gonna use var. We're gonna say Canadian life expectancy. Here we're gonna say, okay, let's say 0.8 is like the percentile at 20%, and %. It's just to show you, basically, if you want to have your percentile at 20%, you have to have your standard deviation or your variance, and you can calculate it. But like, it's just to show you how easy it is to plot. Okay, Canadian average Canadian life expectancy, and let's plot. Okay. What you can see here is like, okay, here we have like the average Canadian life expectancy, we have the lowest average, and we have the highest average. And what is nice to notice is how Plotly is plotting your data. Okay, here we have all the information that we want. And the fact that we used name, we have a legend which is automatically plotted at the right of the graph. Yeah, it was okay, cool. Now we just finished this class on histogram for Plotly. In the next class, it's gonna be much more related to finance. In the next class we learn how to plot candle charts, and how to plot OHLC charts by using market data, and we will have to mix all these different graphs together. And at the end, I will give you one exercise in order for you to be able to check your level. And if you have any question, feel free to ask me this question on the Q&A. Again, that's just a quick introduction, that's just a quick crash course about histogram. What you have to memorize from this class is, first of all, go.bar in order to plot your histogram. You can change the color with marker color, and the hover text, what I found very interesting and very useful. And to finish, how to plot different data on the same year. For example, if you go on year 1977, we have 3 different type of data. Okay guys, I will give you some link on your personal Jupyter notebook attached to this class. I wish you a good learning, and see you in the next video.